What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's HSM YouTube video. As you can see behind me, my background and environment is a little bit different. No, I'm not held hostage in a small basement, but I am in a new home because Kelsey and I are officially homeowners, which is really cool. It's also incredibly scary and daunting, and I signed my life away the other week. I had to sign so many papers, and everything is so different, but it's also incredibly exciting. I have a backyard for the first time in my adult life. I get to mow a lawn. I have a back deck. I have a fire pit, so I can have all you guys over. We can hang out, watch the sunset. We back up to woods. It's awesome. It's a mess because it's a process and we have a lot to do, but it's super exciting. And this is just a side room in the basement. It was the previous owner's workshop, like where all the tools were hung, and obviously I'm the least handy person in the entire universe. So I'm using it now as sort of a stand-up desk work area for myself. So I'm super excited about it, and I'm super excited for this video because ever since March, we've been doing online videos, and the reason for that is because we've lost a lot. We've lost social interaction, we've lost norms, a lot of us have lost not a sense of reality, but what we've been used to in that, I don't know, just so many things are changing. And what I don't want you to lose, above everything else, I don't want you to lose hope. I don't want you to lose your faith, and I don't want you to lose hope in God. And so that's the purpose of these videos. So if you're ever encouraged by it, please, I plead with you to share it. Hopefully this will help you or your friends get through whatever it is that you guys are going through. So subscribe, be sure to subscribe, share, and continue to stay tuned for content that we put out. We meet every week in person at Mandarack, but unfortunately this is all we can do right now in terms of me kind of encouraging you guys with faith. And so with that, I want to jump right in. And I want to do that by asking you a question of, what has been your go-to binge watching show or movie? I've gone through all the basic, Office, Parks and Rec. I binged The Last Dance with Michael Jordan pretty much all in like one weekend. Obviously I watched Hamilton 1,000 times within 2 days on Disney Plus. But on YouTube, there's this weird channel that I haven't told many people about that I don't know why it fascinates me so much. It's almost frustrating because I find myself just like scrolling. This dude has been on YouTube for I don't know how many years, 5-6 years. He has hundreds of videos. Watched them all. I don't know why, but this dude's name is Adam Moran. His channel name is, he's from England. He has a massive beard, like down to here. His name is Beard Meets Food, and he's a competitive eater. And not just the Nathan's hot dog in America, but he does restaurant challenges, home challenges, he makes food. He will eat over 10 pounds of food in a matter of minutes. Like that, it's gone. It's so impressive. I don't know why. I can't stop watching it. And he eats bizarre things, he eats spicy things, he eats the restaurant challenges are pretty fun, but recently he ate a meter-long pizza, just a massive pizza, and he'll do why am I talking about this? I binged that. But what I've recently been binging on Netflix is a show called Alone. Alone is a pretty cool show because what they do in Alone is they've done off versions of this with Survivor Man and Bear Grylls and that kind of thing. But what they do is they strand survival experts in the wild in different geographic locations. In this season 6, they're in the Arctic. And for all you geography experts, the Arctic is pretty cold. So their living conditions are not ideal. And what these people have to do is they have to fend for themselves in every single aspect. When it comes to shelter, when it comes to fire, when it comes to food, when it comes to hunting, when it comes to staying alive against all wildlife. Like, it's super intense. And these people are so smart. They're so smart. But in the intro of the show, there's this one phrase that always gets me. They play this dramatic music. They show different clips of the seasons, and then they kind of talk you through what to expect or what these people's experiences were. And there's this one phrase that always sticks out to me, and I want to read it to you. Where is it? Oh, okay. In the opening scenes, it always says this phrase. They say, it's you against the wilderness in isolation. There's absolutely nothing to fill that void. It is just you alone with your thoughts. There's nothing to fill that void. It's just you alone with your thoughts. And my question for you is, one, are you a survival expert? But mainly, if that were true for you, if you were stranded out in the wild, what would be scarier for you? Having to fend for yourself, hunt for food, take care of yourself, or be completely left alone with your thoughts? Because in my past 6 or so years of doing youth ministry, and even before then doing internships overseas with ministries and working with teenagers for such a long time, even adults today that I interact with, so many people are petrified to be left alone in isolation with just their thoughts. I know so many kids who have separation anxiety, and this may be you if they don't have their phone on them or in their pocket. I myself, how many of you have had the ghost buzz, like in your pocket? Like, I've been holding my phone in my hand and I felt my pocket vibrate because I thought I was getting a text. Like, I need some sort of acknowledgement of interaction or outside world. And so for these people who are stranded, and I want to ask you specifically, if you were just left alone with your thoughts, how would you be? And the reason I'm asking this is because the thinking patterns that you have will drive the direction of your day. Your thinking patterns will drive your day. It'll direct your life entirely. And I think it's something that you and I, we overlook way too much. We don't understand just how much God created us to be able to work towards something and use our minds to drive us there. Because the reason for this video is the Bible talks so much about the way that you and I think. And as I was writing this message out, as I was thinking about it, and I heard the alone quote, being left alone with you and your thoughts, I was so overwhelmed with how many verses in the Bible that actually talk about the way that you and I are meant to think so that we can have beneficial and full lives that lead us to God and lead us into influencing and loving others. That is all if we understand how to think and the direction to think. And so as I've been overwhelmed by understanding just how much the Bible talks about it, I really am thinking about doing a series on the way we think and how that can change our entire life. So consider this video sort of a teaser, a prequel to what maybe the next series could possibly be. But all this, I want to streamline it through one verse. Just one verse that Paul talks about. It's in the book of Romans. He's writing a letter to a church in, you guessed it, Rome. And the reason he's saying what he's saying, I'll read the verse and then I'll talk a little bit about it. The verse, it's a fairly well-known verse. It's Romans 12:2. And this is what it all boils down to. Paul says in Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, what I love about this is that the whole idea of Christianity and the reality of Jesus coming for us was so that we could have a full life and live with him after we die, right? So the promise of eternity is great. It's the whole purpose of it. But till then, we're not supposed to just go live and sit in a corner. We're not just supposed to have a mundane, boring life. And we're definitely not just supposed to be like everybody else, which is why Paul specifically says, don't conform to the pattern of this world. Don't just look around you to see what's normal and accepted and what's common, because you and I were made to be so much more than common. We weren't made to conform. We were made to be transformed. And it's interesting that Paul directly relates that to the way that you and I think. And that's why this is so crucial and so important. And I want to end by giving you the example of the Prince and the Pauper. I was told the example of the Prince and the Pauper a long time ago, and it's always just stuck with me. If you take a prince who grew up in a palace, who understood the ways of royalty and not high living, but of, what's normal for him. But then you take that prince out and you put him on the streets, within weeks, the streets that he lives on, will turn into the closest rendition of the palace that he came from. However, if you take a pauper from the streets and you put him into a palace, the palace won't look like a palace after a couple weeks, because of the patterns of their thinking and the ways that they used to live. They naturally change the environments around them. And I want to challenge you right now with the commonality of your thinking. What's been your normal? Like, what have you woke up just naturally feeling and thinking? What's been common for you? And then challenge that. Like, actually challenge what you think is normal. For the longest time, my friend Steven, he would tell me that he woke up just feeling like not getting out of bed, feeling like just staring at the corner and just being like, this is all I need to do, it's all I want to do, it's all I feel like doing. And then one day he was like, why do I feel this way? Challenge yourself. I don't want you to conform, I don't want you to make excuses, and I don't want you to have a bland, boring life. And Jesus doesn't want you to have that either. That's why the Bible is calling us and encouraging us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Change the way you think, and the direction of your life will absolutely follow. So again, I hope this can be considered as sort of like a prequel to the series on the ways that we think and how it can change our life. And because the Bible is absolutely chock full of it. So full of it, which means it's pretty important to God. So I love you all. Please be encouraged. Make sure to subscribe, share this video if it's encouraged you, and please know that we meet every single week at Mandarac up until September 7th. September 6th, sorry. September 6th, where I want to have our first CCV HSM at CCV outside. Kona's going to be there. Party's going to be there. You better be there. Have a great week. See you next time.